Welcome back to another video of Hope Collides. Today I want to talk a bit about our foundation and where our foundation is. As you know from a previous video, my grandfather and I were super close, and when he passed away, I crumbled and I fell away. Eventually, God drew me back to him, but the reason I crumbled is because my foundation was on my grandfather, not on God, not on Jesus, where it should have been. But when he drew me back to him, I started reading the Bible more. I started praying more, really made him my foundation rather than my grandfather or other people around me. Because people fail, and when they fail, your foundation crumbles. God does not fail. He doesn't always work the way we want him to work, but he knows what's best. So 4 years later, it was actually June 11th, 2010, my uncle passed away from cancer. I had known for a couple weeks that he had cancer, but they said he'd make a couple months at least, so I figured I'd get to see him at my brother's graduation. Unfortunately, things didn't go the way we planned, so he passed away while I was in Minnesota. I didn't get to see him again, but I had called quite often. I was at a worship at the camp I was working at, and felt like I needed to call, but I put it off and put it off and put it off. Finally, I called when the worship was over, and my mom answered, and could tell that she was upset. And I asked her what was wrong, and my uncle had passed away about 5 minutes before I called. Now, when my grandfather passed away, I crumbled. It was awful, because my grandpa was my foundation. Just because Jesus was his foundation doesn't mean Jesus was also my foundation. I thought I was following Jesus, but I was really following my grandpa. Well, God drew me back to him, and I really started focusing on him. So when my uncle passed away, and I was in Minnesota, hundreds of miles from home, probably that I wasn't around family. I couldn't make it to the funeral. You would think that that's when I would really crumble, but I didn't, because my focus was on God. My focus was not on my grandpa, my uncle, or anyone else. My focus was on God. So, instead of crumbling, I went to Dairy Queen with some friends and we just talked. And I continued on the ministry. I stayed at camp because I couldn't get home as part of it, but they offered me the week off. But I stayed at camp because I knew that's where God wanted me to be, not just for myself, but hopefully for those campers too. So remember to dig into the Word, spend time in fellowship, and to love each other. And spend time in prayer. Put your foundation really in Him, because if you don't, that's when we really fall apart, when things don't go the way we want them to. Remember, He knows best. God bless you. Have a good day.